Number 1. Increased challenges. While we would expect that things begin to work out in our favor at the brink of getting God's blessings, it might not always work out that way. The greatest victories are won after the fiercest battles, and the period between daylight and night is marked by a moment of great darkness. That's to tell you that you will most likely have your battles increased and face more challenges just before you are being moved into another season. It could come in forms of trials, temptations, and persecutions, but the major thing is to avoid getting caught up in this moment so we do not lose sight of what God has ahead for us. You will most likely be tempted to give in and give up, but you should not, because it means that you are at the edge of your breakthrough and something great is about to come out of your experiences. You should also be encouraged because even through those problems, God will not leave or abandon you. He will be right there to carry you through and to see that you get what is coming for you. David had been anointed king for a long time, but he had to go through a series of hurdles to get to that point. The challenges he faced from day to day kept increasing, and he was constantly on the run for his life. However, these challenges only served to prepare him for the throne that was his portion. We also see that Job went through a period of intense darkness in his life where he lost all that he had. Even his wife encouraged him to curse God and die. That is, to just give up based on the circumstance he found himself, but he refused to, and his persistence paid off in the end. When the journey becomes harder, do not be tempted to stop. When the road becomes arduous, move ahead. It is a sign that you are about to break through and break forth. Do not give up at this time or lose faith, because that's exactly what the devil wants. He will make you concentrate on the problems instead of the greatness that lies ahead. Instead of seeing it as a problem or challenge, just think of it as the road or bridge to your success. And you can also be sure that blessings are waiting for you on the other side. Number 2. Your faith is being strengthened. When we go through challenges and dark seasons, there is every tendency for our faith to nosedive. We are bothered about what is going on around us, and if those problems persist for a long time, we might probably lose hope of ever experiencing any change. However, when God is ready to put an end to those trying to put an end to our lives, He strengthens our faith in Him to be able to receive what is coming. Faith starts from the heart and is made stronger in the place of prayer. Your faith will push you to pray the more, knowing that your prayers can be answered. What marked the turning point between Jabez's previous state and what he turned out to be? Prayer did. He had been called a child of sorrow by his mother, but knew that can be changed, and so went to God praying for his coast to be enlarged and his predicament to be changed. And God granted him his request. What about Hannah? She only got her breakthrough at the point where she finally cried out her heart in prayer to God. That marked the end of her barrenness and the days of being mocked by the other wife, Peninnah. The woman with the issue of blood had also been struggling for quite some time with the ailment that befell her, but when it was time for her story to be changed, she had strong faith and resolved that if only she could touch the hem of Jesus' garment, she would be healed, and it happened to her accordingly. When you have a strong resolve, even in the face of overwhelming challenges, when you can still look up in faith to God, crying out to Him, you can be sure that your blessings are around the corner, as God would never let you down when you call on Him. He will definitely bring answers to your prayers and grant your heart's request. So, when you find yourself being pushed and propelled to pray the more, God wants to change certain things concerning your life. These are seasons that should not be ignored. Number 3. You come across destiny helpers. Destiny helpers are a very important part of our journey in life. They have been set there by God to help us achieve certain things and fulfill our assignments, even here on earth. God will not come down in the physical form to bless you. Instead, He sends people across your path. These people could include your parents, your pastors, mentors, or just anybody, even a stranger that you have never met previously. No matter who they are, it is important to recognize the role of these people in our lives and give them the honor due to them. Most times, you might not even realize their roles until much later. That is why it is important to honor all men irrespective of their status. David was anointed by Samuel, and that marked the end of his stay in the fields. Although he had to go through many challenges to get to the throne, that particular incident marked a turning point in his life and was an indication of God's blessings. Another person was Abraham. Abraham entertained 3 men, showing them hospitality and not knowing that they were angels. They were the ones that prophesied the birth of Isaac, and it came to pass just according to their words. That marked the end of barrenness for Sarah, and she had the reason to smile again. Saul, while looking for his father's lost sheep, came across Samuel, who anointed him to be king over the whole land of Israel. When it is time for you to be moved from the current position or situation, God will do it in such a way that He brings people across your path to help you. It may be someone you know or someone you have never met before. These people will be there to help you move from where you are currently to where God has in mind for you. Moreover, during dark times, people tend to be left alone and abandoned. Even close friends and family might leave one, but that will change when God wants to turn your sorrow into joy. He does not necessarily bring back everyone to you. Rather, He sets relevant people that will be instrumental to your transition on your path. These are people whose influence would help your transition. They might also be there just to instruct and guide you through the path that you journey. When you begin to notice such people in your life, you should take that as a sign that things are about to be changed for the better. Number 4. God causes you to be remembered. Many a times our progress or success in life can be delayed or influenced, either positively or negatively by some other men. However, when God is ready to bless you, He will cause those men to do the right thing. Take Mordecai for example. He had done a good deed for the king, and though it was recorded, that act of saving the king's life was not rewarded. However, when it was time for God to change his life, the king could not sleep and asked for the book of Chronicles to be brought to him. And right there, he decided to honor Mordecai for his good deeds. That was the beginning of Mordecai's journey from serving at the gate to becoming a prince. That was a sign that God was turning his dark days into blessings for him. Mephibosheth was another man who faced dark periods even right from his birth. Rid of his right to the throne and being crippled, he was at the mercy of others for a long time until God intervened. God made King David to remember his covenant with Jonathan and then make inquiries to see if there was anyone left of the house of Saul. And that was how the days of darkness for Mephibosheth ended. When you are suddenly called and remembered, especially when you do not expect it, it is a sign of good things to come. Number 5. You receive prophecies. Prophecies are a picture of things to come. They speak about the future and could be either edifying or otherwise. To tell of something that He wants to do, God often makes His mind known to certain people ahead of time, usually prophets. However, giving prophecies are not limited to prophets alone. You can tell that God is about to change your life and your story by the kind of prophecies that you receive. When you begin to receive prophecies that speak of deliverance and a great future ahead, you should be prepared for transition. However, prophecies are not absolute in themselves. They have to be received in faith and prayed over to see the manifestation. Perhaps you have had people prophesy over your life and you are yet to see the manifestation. That's a sign for you to return your knees and call forth those things in prayer. Daniel understood by books that the children of Israel were supposed to be out of captivity after 70 years. It was a prophecy that had gone forth. he did not just rest on this information, he went ahead to pray for the manifestation. Prophecies are valid signs. Do not take them with levity.